All right, who's excited? I'm excited. Are you excited, Poochie? I'm gonna talk about you. Hello there and welcome back to my channel. It has definitely been a while. If you know me and you've known me for a while, you know that I have my dog here. Her name is Buttercup, who has definitely been an immense source of joy in my life since I got her. However, I would be lying if I didn't say that there had been some difficulties since I adopted her that I think we should talk about. All right, I think you need to go. By no means am I trying to discourage you from getting a dog. In fact, quite the opposite. I'm trying to give you as much information as possible so that you never find yourself in a situation where you want to bring your dog back to the shelter. As it is, there's too many dogs up for adoption because families give them up. And in my mind, there's a very few reasons why that should be allowed. So without further ado, here are 10 things to consider before adopting a dog. Number one is consider your expenses. Other than the obvious, the food, the treats, and the actual cost of the dogs, there are a ton of other expenses that come up when you own a pet. For example, the regular medical expenses, but also her emergency medical expenses when she breaks a nail or when she scratches her tail a little too hard. Other expenses such as the cost of daycare and or a walker if you need either of those two things. There are just a ton of other expenses that I did not necessarily think about and factor into the cost of owning a dog. So just to give you an idea, I spent about $6,000 last year paying for Buttercup's expenses alone. And I had a ton of help. I could bring her to work. I had a car that I could use to bring her places. My friend would keep her whenever I would travel. So it's not like it's a lot of money, but it's not nothing either. So definitely factor that in if you want to keep a healthy and happy pup. The second thing to consider is that your schedule will change drastically. You can forget about sleeping in the morning because the dog will need to go out on a walk or go outside of pee. And also, if you're the kind of person that likes to be out and about the whole day, you can no longer do that if the dog doesn't have access to a place to go to the bathroom. Or even if they do you really want to leave them alone for like 6 to 8 hours a day? What does that do to the mental health of the dog? And is that the kind of life you want to give your pet? Number 3, you will be responsible for the dog, rain or shine. And I mean this both literally. I don't know why I never thought that I would move away from LA to New York, where it snows in the winter and it rains constantly. And guess who has to take the dog on 3 walks a day when it's raining or snowing? This girl. And I don't particularly enjoy it, but I don't have another option. So rain or shine, I have to take care of Buttercup. But also, figuratively, anything bad happens to the dog, anxiety, if the dog is having a trauma that they're trying to work through, or if they destroy something, or God forbid they bite someone, I'm still responsible for that. I'm responsible for her when she's cute, and I'm responsible for her when she's not being so cute. Number 4 is account for destruction. Look, a dog is going to damage something at one point or another. Whether it's their own toy that they destroy, or if they have a little panic attack and they destroy something in your house, or if they're playing and they knock something over and it's irreparable, it's bound to happen. So just think about that, because I've had my fair share of damage that I've had to address over the years from owning Buttercup. I can't even tell you. And like the worst part about it is that it's rarely even mine, which makes me feel even worse about it. And some of them are easy to fix. It's like you launder something or you have it professionally clean and it's back. But other things, I've had to replace doors. Right now I'm going through the situation where I have to replace the crown molding on my boyfriend's apartment. And look, she's not even a destructive dog. She's perfectly calm most of the time, but it's the cost of owning a dog. So definitely, I wish somebody had said, like, you know what, set aside like about $1,000 in pet damages expenses, just so you have it. If anything comes up, it won't like throw you. Keep it in mind. Number 5, owning a dog will definitely affect your travel. I travel quite a bit, and before I even consider going somewhere, I have to think about what I'm gonna do with Buttercup. For example, if I'm gonna bring her, I have to think about the cost of airfare if I have to fly with her, or how am I going to get her there? Can she get on the train? Do I have a car that I can bring her into? Or even the cost of a hotel. You know, I need to find a pet-friendly hotel, which is hard to find sometimes. If she's not coming, then I have to factor in the cost of boarding, which in New York City can get fairly expensive. So normally she stays with a friend, and that's great, but for an extended period of time, that's hard to ask somebody to take your dog for 2 weeks or even 10 days. Something to think about. Number 6, having a dog will definitely affect the places where you can live. I don't know why I didn't think of this, because I've moved like 7 times in my life, but since I've gotten Buttercup, it has significantly decreased the number of apartments that I can live in. I'm a renter, and especially here in New York City, where the market is very challenging, having a pet to add on top of it, and a big pet at that, has been really difficult and has significantly decreased the number of places that are available to me, even having like good credit and decent income and all of that stuff. And also, if I were to move to a new city, I have to consider, how am I going to get her? What if I were to move across the country again? Can I get her on a plane? What is that going to cost? What am I going to need? Are there pet-friendly resources around the new city? It's all of these things that you need to consider if you're thinking of moving in the future and you want to have the dog for a long time. Number 7, and I know this is not applicable to everyone, but if you are single, it will definitely affect your dating life. This is something that I had to learn when I found myself single and dating again, having a dog. It's things that I could do before when I was single, I could not do anymore now that I had Buttercup. For example, if you're dating someone new and you're someone who's comfortable with sleepovers, what are you going to do with the dog? Are you going to leave your dog alone while you're away? Or is the new person in your life going to have to come over to your place every single time? And what does that do to the relationship? Also, what happens if you meet someone that you're crazy about, but they're not necessarily a dog person? That's something that I've had to learn. It's not that they don't like her, they love her, but they're not used to having one around. They're not used to the noise it creates and the chaos it creates and the dirt it brings, because they're dogs, and especially in New York, they get really dirty. So this is definitely something to think about. How are you gonna let that creature affect your life as you develop a new one with somebody else? Number 8 is there is a lot of cleaning to keep up with, and I am still working on this one. Like, dogs, Buttercup sheds. We've discussed that before. And also, like, from time to time she smells and she needs a bath, which I don't like doing at home because she sheds and I don't want to clog up my drain. So I take her somewhere. And her bed stinks from time to time. And like little things like that you need to really keep on top of if you don't want your house to become a place that smells like dog. And to be honest, I am not perfect at this. Like, I am okay at keeping things around me clean, but I'm not as consistent as I should be about picking up her fur. I'm not as consistent as I should be about bathing her, because it's a pain in the butt, to be completely honest. So it's things that you have to get into a routine, but are definitely things that I wish I had forethought before rescuing her, to be like, okay, you need to vacuum every single day or every other day, and you need to bathe her regularly, and what does that imply for your schedule and like traveling outside of your neighborhood so that you can do that? Or are you going to do it at home and then clean the bathroom? Just telling you straight, like telling you honestly where I'm coming from, because it's hard, and it's definitely hard if you're living with somebody else that is not the dog owner also. Number 9, it's a lot of work for just one person. And look, maybe you're in a unit and you're getting a dog with a partner or with a family or something. Maybe you have a roommate. But listen, I found myself in a situation where I got the dog with somebody else, and then that relationship broke up, and all of a sudden I was the sole owner of the dog, and I was responsible for them financially, my time, all the care of the dog was now on me, and it is a lot of work. I'm telling you honestly, it's a lot of work, and by no means am I saying it hasn't been worth it and it's been perfectly manageable, but that is not what I had signed up for originally when I got her. But the other side is, say my unit broke up anyway and I had given up the dog. That's like a double stab if you're losing a relationship, or if you're losing your family because you're moving away, and on top of it you're losing the dog. That sucks. And number 10, the dog will most likely die before you do. Look, I know this is morbid, but it is something that I like to keep present in my mind, because dogs don't live as long as humans, and she has become a huge part of my routine, and she brings me joy every day, and she's my companion and my sidekick all the time, has been with me through thick and thin. And one day, all of a sudden, she's gonna be gone, And not to say that that's a big enough reason to not get one just because we're going to experience that loss. But it is something that I like to keep in my mind from time to time, because that way there's no surprises. I can deal with it easily and I can know that it's going to happen one day and I'm prepared for it, and I hopefully don't have to deal with that for another 10 years. But when I do, I knew it was coming and I'll be equipped to deal with it, shall we say. And on that last, and I'm sorry, yes, it was a very sad note, there you have it. That is 10 things to consider before getting a dog. Thank you so much for watching. Let me know in the comments if there's something that I did not mention that you think should be shared with the group. Don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up and subscribe and ring the bell. Apparently that's important now. I haven't been on YouTube in like 5 years and now we have to ring bells. So don't forget to do that. And come back next week for something completely different. And I know I said this last time that I would see you next week, and then it took me 4 years to come back, but this time I really mean it. I'll see you next week. Bye.